So if you've been volunteering in a church, especially with kids, you notice kids will come and go without their parents. They'll show up for vacation Bible school or Sunday school or Wednesday night youth group or whatever. And if you're not careful, you start to kind of think that maybe you're being used as free child care, being taken advantage of, and you wonder, is it a waste of time? Because those kids will come for a while and they just disappear, and it's hard to follow up. You can't stalk kids. So you start to wonder, what happened to those kids? Was it a waste of time? And that can be very frustrating. When I was 9 or so we're talking 37, 38 years ago, maybe longer, we moved to a little town called McCaysville, Georgia. McCaysville, Georgia is a tiny town. It's in the 80s. This was back in the 80s. It was drying up. The only real employer in town, the Tennessee Chemical Company, had all but shut down. Everybody's moving out of town. And when I moved into the town, I had joined the Boy Scouts. But since everybody's moving away, the den mother one day eventually says, look, kind of silly to have a Boy Scout troop with just 2 or 3 of you. So the First Baptist Church, they have something called Royal Ambassadors. And Royal Ambassadors is kind of like Boy Scouts with Jesus. You should go try that out. And I thought, Boy Scouts with Jesus. Don't know about this Jesus thing, but Boy Scout sounds good. She was saying they do camping and crafts and all this outdoorsy stuff. So I started going on Wednesday nights. We lived real close to the church. I could actually walk there. And so I started walking to church Wednesday nights alone. Now, my brother came a few times. He came from time to time, but generally he didn't come either. My mom didn't go to church. We weren't churchgoers. Family was not churchgoers. Well, I loved Royal Ambassadors. And after Royal Ambassadors, most of the other kids went to choir practice, and I loved to sing. So, I could get to sing, and I could continue to hang out with my friends, these other kids, for a while longer. So I started going to choir. It was a great escape from what wasn't in church. And from time to time, if you're in choir, you're expected to come to Sunday service and sing, because that was the whole point of choir, except to learn to sing songs for people to hear. And so I started showing up when we'd have these Sundays when we were supposed to sing with the main choir, the adult choir. I'd show up, and then I show up, and my other friends, you sing your song, and then you go sit with your friends in the congregation, or I'd sit alone, or maybe my brother was there, or whatever. Sometimes my mother would show up for those services. And then they would go to Sunday school on Sunday. So I wanted to hang out with these kids as much as possible, and I really enjoyed what was going on at church, so I started going to Sunday school. And it was great. I really enjoyed myself. Well, through Royal Ambassadors and choir and this sermon and Sunday school, I was taught the gospel. And one Sunday at McCaysville, Copper Hill Baptist Church. McCaysville and Copper Hill are basically the same town, so the church it's called McCaysville Copper Hill Baptist Church. Or if you're from Copper Hill, it's called Copper Hill McCaysville Baptist Church. But one Sunday I took those steps down into the baptismal and was baptized. And when you look back on the course of your life, you can, if you really think it through and take the time to recall how your life went, they're big events that really change the trajectory of your life, And walking down into that baptismal changed everything that happened after that. Every single event in my life that happened since that day has been different. Obviously for the better. So McCaysville Baptist Church, or anybody that's in ministry. And you wonder about those kids who show up and disappear. Well, I disappeared almost immediately after that baptism. You see, McCaysville Baptist Church is one of those churches that would let you get baptized in the river. Right behind the church runs the river, and you could get baptized at Horseshoe Bend Park. But it was winter time. I couldn't wait for it to be warm enough to be baptized in the water, so they baptized me in the baptismal. And we moved away. And the people there at that church, up until today, June 12th, 2022, I was 34, 34 years ago. Up until today, nobody at that church has seen me since then. And today it was only the housekeeper, Carol. So I'm one of those kids that came and went. I'm married to another baptized person, my wife. We're a church-going family. There's 4 of us. My son plays in the orchestra at our local church. Our kids go to Sunday school every Sunday, with a rare exception. There's a legacy, and you don't get to see it because it's not yours to see. It's God's to see. And one day, perhaps, when we're in the great yonder up there, we'll get to see what our legacy was, who we got to touch, who we got to pull along behind us. But if you're ever getting frustrated and feeling like free child care, that's what you are. You're free child care for that woman. And that's okay. Not only is that okay, it's beautiful. Love you guys.